you are spending the time to connect with me, to heal yourself, and today to learn about scripting. Have you heard about scripting? Do you know what scripting is? Do you keep a journal? Let's just start there. So, I am speaking to you now, probably after about, I'll say 6 solid years, maybe 7 solid years of scribing or writing. I would say at least 3 times a week. Some days it's like way more, and it's not every single day. But what I will show you, this is my last journal. This one, this was like 6 months. 6 months, over 400 pages written by hand. And I'm saying 400 because it's a 200-page book and it's front and back. The power of the pen. This is one of the things that I use relentlessly to co-create my reality. Automatic writing. So there's automatic writing, scribing for your future. You guys probably heard me. If you haven't already watched the video on The Path to Wealth, it's like a book report on The Path to Wealth by Mae McCarthy. She has a scripting or scribing method in there in her book that she promotes. There is so much power in this that often gets overlooked, and we've turned into such a digital world that it's not common for people to have their journal or to have their notebook there with them. Now I am a little bit of the opposite. I have right here, even just next to me, these are all unused. These are all new. I absolutely have to have paper around me. I know that it sounds kind of funny, but when I start to get to the end of my journal, like this one had less than 10 pages left, and I already was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get another one? Because of how important it is for me. And I've realized that I haven't even shared any of this really with you other than the Path to Wealth, the CSO meetings. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about. And this was really fun because it actually came through in one of the exercises that we did in Rise yesterday. Um, that when you write and when you give yourself not just, I'm thinking that this is what I want to write, so this is what I'm going to write. When you allow yourself to write in a way where you get your mind out of it, it like really, really powerful and really profound things can happen. So I've written a book. I haven't fully edited it yet, so it's not published. But I've written a book, and I had this experience in Los Angeles where I just started writing, and I didn't really understand where the writing was going. There was just something that wanted to come out of me, something that wanted to move through. I ended up writing kind of a story about how a woman met a man unexpectedly. I wrote in detail how she met him, like what he was wearing, what the scenario was, and what the circumstances were around their meeting. Within a week, I ended up meeting a man at an LA Summit event in a eerie way, in an eerie way that resembled what it was that I had written. And if I'm being really honest with you, recognizing that power actually frightened me a little bit. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know that something really strong came through me through the quantum field." And the way that I see it really was that it's almost like a premonition, right? I was seeing what was coming into my life, but because of the way that it came through, and I wasn't really cued in to the power of the pen and how scripting and how scribing and writing out the circumstances of what it is that you're co-creating with the universe. Now, I have a personal theory. I have a lot of personal theories, and I used to call it, coming from Samantha's book of Ness. This was when I was leading my larger mastermind programs. Anything that came through me as a theory was out of this book, right? So I haven't talked about this hypothetical book in a long time. One of the things in there when we're talking about manifesting, I actually believe that manifesting is your future self telling you what's coming into your life and what to get ready for. So when you're actually connecting into the quantum field and you're feeling internally something that's coming to you, rather than you see your friend has a Lamborghini, and so you in your mind are like, wow, it'd be really cool to have a Lamborghini. I want to manifest. It's like coming from an outside influence rather than an internal desire. And so when things are coming, I believe that when things are coming from that internal desire, that there's a deeper meaning or there's a deeper reason as to why you want something, and that it isn't actually just what you think it is. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? There's a churning inside of you. It comes with motivation, it comes with ambition, it comes with a drive. It's not just I want something. There's a fire behind it. I believe that that's your future self saying, "Okay, make room for this, get ready for this. You need to move this out of your life. You need to shift this out of your life. You need to." It's like getting ready for what's coming, right? So when you are allowing your future self to start speaking through you and you're using the power of the pen and you're scribing and you're writing and you're scripting, like it doesn't really matter what you call it. And there's a few methods that I want to share with you here. So one is the CSO meeting. CSO stands for Chief Spiritual Officer. So if you think that like your life is a corporate entity, something along those lines, your life is you have a COO, you have a CFO, you have a CEO. You're probably the CEO and founder. Then you have your CSO. So the CSO is your Chief Spiritual Officer. Your chief spiritual officer is your higher self. It is the aspect of you that has the bird's eye view, what your egoic conscious mind has no access to other than by connecting to your higher self. So your higher self is your CSO. So when you write, and like I said, this method comes from the path to wealth. So when you write out to your CSO, dear CSO, you say thank you for, and you write what it is that you desire, what it is that you're working towards. You write it in present tense as though it has already happened. So thank you for fill in the blank of what it is that you're manifesting, right? What it is that you're calling in, what it is that you're bringing into your world and into your life. For me, I do a minimum of 1 page when I write to my CSO. And so the CSO, again, it's using the power of gratitude. So you're using the power of gratitude to write what it is that you desire as though you already have it in present tense. Now, the reason that this works, it will start to align your field and align your frequency, your embodied frequency to what it is that you are calling in. And so when we talk law of attraction, the law of resonance, if you are resonating with that frequency inside of your body, you've already called it in, then the likelihood of that really coming into your world, and also that you are open to receive it. So if you have issues with low self-worth, if you have issues with insecurity, if you have issues with low value, low self-perception, low self-trust, low confidence, these are all things that will block manifestations from coming because on a certain level, you actually don't think or believe that you deserve it. So what will happen is that you will start to call it in, you'll start resonating with it, you'll start seeing it as a possibility, you'll start seeing the timeline. And then what will happen is it will start coming and it will start getting close to you, and you'll have like this donkey kick knee jerk reaction that kicks it out of your field as self sabotage. So, self sabotage is something that will come through and it's internal inside of you that says, I don't deserve this. So, in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to screw it up. And so if you have a pattern of screwing things up or watching yourself screw things up, it will compound as low self-trust, low self-confidence, low self-worth. You'll start to see less than of yourself than what you are universally by the consciousness of your very own creator, that you are designed as perfect. You are designed as absolute perfection. If you could see yourself through the eyes of your own creator, you could see that there is not a single thing wrong with you. Not a single thing wrong with you. So, if what it is that you need to call in is internal resolution and internal integration, integrity of your ability to receive because you believe that you are valuable and you are deserving and you are open to receiving this. I can't even tell you how much work I have had to do for myself by means of my value and deservingness of receiving. And part of it is because I grew up receiving an imprint that said love and pain were synonymous. They came hand in hand. If I was to receive love, I was also to receive pain, and not just a little bit, like an extraordinary amount of pain. And that was a consistent, ongoing thing through my childhood by one of my primary caregivers. And so the imprint that left for me to unravel, to learn how to receive and learn how to receive in a big way. I've had major peak experiences. But so here's the other thing is that when you have a peak experience and you're able to bring something in and you're actually able to receive it, the likelihood, if you still have these gaps inside of your own consciousness, the likelihood of you screwing it up is also quite high. So it's your ability to not just use scripting or scribing to write these letters, but the other thing, and this is why it doesn't work, or why you'll see that it doesn't work, or why it takes time, because the integrity, the vibrational integrity. So, what I mean by vibrational integrity is that there's no gaps between how you see yourself, the words that come out of your mouth, your word is your bond, and the actual vibrational frequency that you are resonating at. So, vibrational integrity, you cannot fake this. You cannot create a story. You cannot create a facade. You cannot create something going on inside of you that has any gaps in integrity. So, you can use these scripting and scribing methods, but if you are not also doing the internal work to be able to receive what it is that you are calling in, then you'll screw it up. You'll literally kick it out. You'll literally sabotage it in some way, shape, or form. So, as we're scribing, we're using the power of the pen, which is so magnetic. It's so concrete. You can see it, taste it, touch it, feel it. You know that what it is that you are writing is something, it is a timeline that you can see. It is a timeline in the field of infinite possibilities. On some level, you're resonating to it. On some level, you're calling it in. So here's another thing that we do when we're scribing is that after you write your CSO letter, and I'm going to share with you a couple of other methods as I mentioned, but as you're writing your CSO letter, you then also read it out loud. Because the power of your voice, the power of your sound, your voice has a specific vibrational signature that is directly connected. It's like your thumbprint, it's your sound thumbprint. Nobody has the same currency through tone that you do. So when you are using sound, and remember, we live in a multidimensional reality. We don't just live in this concrete world. And in fact, what is material, what is matter, is actually a bunch of moving atoms and molecules that are shifting around, as we know from biology and by science. So this table in and of itself isn't actually fully concrete. This is how you're able to remote view and walk through walls and that sort of thing. Another topic, another discussion. um, so, when you're using your voice, when you're using the power of your word, when you're using your magnetic capabilities by using the power of your pen, verbally speaking it out, what this does is it also actually gives your consciousness the guided direction, like a rudder on the back of a boat, right? It gives you the guided direction to move towards the things that are going to help you anchor in that vibrational integrity. So that is what helps you to close the gap. And this is why it takes time. It actually doesn't take time. Time is not what it takes. We Beyond the third dimension, we live in a quantum field where time and space do not actually exist. So all possibilities, all quantum possibilities of what it is that you could be living, the life that you could be living right now, here in this right now moment, it opens the field, it opens the door, it opens a whole new level of awareness, it opens a whole new level of presence. And so when you're writing it down, when you're hearing yourself say it, you are already starting to align to the guidance of the direction that will anchor in that vibrational integrity for you, which allows it to come in. So there's a lot in that. It's not just a little bit, but I hope that you're understanding like how the mechanics of this work from a vibrational and multidimensional space. Like when we say we're manifesting something, well, yeah, there's mechanisms to this that happen. So when we understand the mechanisms, we can reverse engineer that, right? So we can conceptualize law of attraction. Well, if we embody the law of resonance, meaning the universe will show you and deliver to you what is of you, what you are embodied in your field, in your frequency, in yourself. So as you open to the awareness of what's possible by means of what it is that you've already seen, and by means of what it is that you would want to course correct or kind of suture, fix within yourself. And fix is just kind of, upgrading the system. If you recognize you have a faulty piece, a faulty system, upgrade that piece of the system, which allows you to resonate in a stronger field of, like I said, your own vibrational integrity. Beautiful. And so if you have not already liked, comment, and subscribed, please do so really quick so I can see that there are people here watching the live that have not clicked that little thumbs up button. So if you could do that for me real quick, I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right. The other thing that I want to talk about here is also automatic writing. Now, automatic writing is completely different. Automatic writing. So the letter to the CSO is that we are writing a letter, right? So that's coming output from you to the paper, verbalized. Okay, starting to align, feeling that resonance. Automatic writing comes the other direction. So automatic writing is actually learning to allow yourself to completely move out of the field. And what I mean by when you allow yourself, it's your egoic consciousness. So when you allow your egoic consciousness to turn off and you're writing from a place of you're receiving input from the guides or the guidance that is around you that is also giving you the insight or input to be able to continue to move forward in the direction of what it is that you're calling in. But in this time, your guides are either giving you encouragement, giving you an intuitive ping, a next step of action. It's allowing your guidance system to actually speak to you through your pen. Automatic writing is really helpful for people that have very strong egoic structures. So and what I mean by that, through the path of healing, what will happen is that you start to develop a relationship between you and you. So you start to develop a relationship between your inner being and your egoic consciousness. Your egoic consciousness and your ego structure, to me, they're one and the same, just two different ways that I say it. The ego structure is built and designed, it's created by the life experiences that you have had. And so your ego structure is designed to keep you safe. So if it recognizes anything as a threat, it will push it away and it will protect you. It is the reason why most people are afraid of psychics or their own psychic abilities. Because when you start developing your psychic abilities, the ego structure, it has no choice but to surrender. It has no choice but to submit. And the ego loves control, loves control. And so that control that comes in from the ego structure that likes to activate and likes to create scenarios or circumstances or self-fulfilling prophecies, it's a very interesting and very, kind of tricky thing, and that's really for another talk. I wanna stay clear and just on to the scripting. So the scripting, when you're using automatic writing, it works really, really, really well to open your channels of clairaudience. So clairaudience is the ability to hear spirit. And so the clairaudience that's coming through, it's a fifth chakra ability, right? So it's coming through here. Broadband telepathy, narrowband telepathy, creative channels, your speaking channels obviously has a lot to do with empowerment, safety. A lot of us have been prosecuted for using the power of our voice. A lot of us have been punished for using the power of our voice. We as a collective have so much energy in clearing this. And so activating the ability of clairaudience, but when you're doing it from the power of your pen, then what's happening is that you're actually kind of bypassing the egoic consciousness if you can quiet the mind enough and just let the pen keep writing. It will start to feel like almost like your hand isn't your hand, that there is an energy that's controlling your hand, that's moving your hand, that's allowing the messages or the guidance to come through that in other ways you may question. Because oftentimes clairaudience, it comes in as messages that sometimes sound like your thoughts. So if you don't know how to discern your thoughts from a message, that's really what it takes. Like learning to activate or learning to hone in your clairaudience, it's really just about trial and error and discernment because you're receiving messages all the time. If you have parasitic entities that are plugged in, you're receiving messages from them too. So if you're able to learn to discern what are thoughts from your inner being, what are thoughts that are coming from your inner world, what are thoughts that are coming from your fear-based programming from your ego structure or a wounded place like your pain is speaking, or if it's coming from a parasitic entity, or is it coming from like a guide, your guidance system, your higher self? These are all things that can be really tricky to discern, especially in the beginning of learning to hone in your abilities. So, automatic writing is a really, really, really beautiful way to open all of that information as a new set of abilities, but it's not new. It's already embedded in you. Every single human being has the capacity and the capabilities of learning how to automatic write, to speak to their guides. Every single human being has a gift of clairaudience. Every single human being has a gift of clairvoyance. Every single human being has these psychic abilities embedded into their system. They just don't know they're there. It's kind of like if you're to get a new computer and the new computer has apps on it that are already built in. Let's say it has like a video editing app or a video editing program. The computer already has the capabilities of editing videos, right? But maybe the user doesn't know how to edit videos or hasn't learned that program or hasn't learned that software. It doesn't mean that it's not capable of doing it. It is capable of doing it. Every single human being has these. We are not taught this in school. We are not taught emotional intelligence in school. We are not taught psychological patterning in school. We are not taught anything about how to learn how the human experience or how the human computer or technology of our body works. So ultimately, it is up to us to take responsibility to activate those abilities inside of ourselves and use our discernment to know how they are working. Automatic writing is it's like a gateway. It's a gateway and it's a simple way, and the reason that it's a simple way and it's a gateway is because it's a very clear way that you can see what's happening. The evidence is right there. So it's a gateway because it's almost like bringing a non-believer or the skeptics out of the closet, showing them what they're capable of doing and being able to see with their own hands what they have created or what they have written. It's the same reason in my reading. If a past life comes up, of course I'm going to read it, but ultimately I've learned that it's so much more powerful for me to be able to teach somebody how to access and read their own past lives than it is for me to read it for them, because they then have their own personal experience of what that was like, and I find it way more impactful than having somebody tell you, personally. So, automatic writing, scribing to the CSO. And the other is just simply creative writing. Write for the sake of writing, see what comes up, see what comes through. Let go of any pressure or expectations that you need to receive a huge message or whatever it is. Just let the imagination fly, let the imagination flow. Let yourself see what it is that you are writing. Let yourself imagine to encourage your visualization, encourage these ways that you're able to see things more clearly, clairvoyance, anything in that sort of regard or way. Um, you'll start to see your own abilities and your connection, your attunement to your own abilities start opening up in beautifully powerful, miraculous ways. So, with that, my loves, I hope that you have found this very helpful. I hope that you find it within yourselves to even give, yourself 20 minutes a day of just writing. If you do that for a week, you do that for a month, you will see wild and very fast changes happening in your life. It really is one of the most profound and simple, easily accessible, and probably the most overlooked tool or skill that we have in this world. It's just almost so obvious that we don't pay attention to it. So I hope that this helps you manifest. I hope it helps you clear some stuff, some icky gunk from your subconscious world and subconscious mind, and that it serves you well. So, with that, my sweet and dear loves, for December, of course, we still have one-to-one readings available. I'm just going to be doing that through the month of December. We've got some new big things coming through January, and so I'm taking advantage of the time while it's here to be able to connect with you in that way and at this price. So, you can find me on Instagram, send me a DM. I will reach out to you and we can book that. And also, of course, Rise enrollment is still open and available. We're already starting to see some beautiful waves happening with the students who have enrolled. Rise is about harnessing your energy. It is about fine tuning your abilities. It is about fine tuning and harnessing what it is that you are cultivating, what it is that you are creating, and upgrading the system of what isn't working or what is holding you back, and getting really clear on how to shift that programming within yourself so that you can call into you what it is that you truly desire, and so that you can co-create with the universe what it is that you truly desire. So, with that, my sweet loves, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for being here with me. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, click that bell. I'm here live every weekday at 9 a.m. And I look forward to seeing you again bright and early tomorrow morning. Mwah! I hope you have a beautiful day. Ciao.